Welcome back. A federal judge in Minnesota is refusing to temporarily block tactics used by ICE, even though that same judge calls some of their methods racially biased. Here's Ian Russell on what this ruling means and what comes next.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
Nearly 1 month ago today, federal officials announced the drawdown of federal officers in Minnesota, a key point to ending Operation Metro Surge. And now that the end is happening, we're learning more about problems that happened during the operation.
Pursue justice and accountability for Minnesotans who've been harmed by the federal government's unlawful policies.
The ACLU of Minnesota filed a lawsuit in January alleging that Minnesotans had their rights violated by federal agents during Metro Surge. ACLU Minnesota staff attorney Catherine Allen Halverson says they were looking for a judge to stop policies they say were unconstitutional. While U.S. District Judge Eric Tostrud didn't stop those policies in an order issued Monday, he did write that ICE likely used unconstitutional policies.
The court found that Minnesotans have been stopped by federal agents solely because of their race and ethnicity, not for any lawful immigration purpose.
Tostrud says multiple times in this order that plaintiffs were stopped and detained solely based on their race or ethnicity.
This is a judge that says we know this has been past behavior, rights have been violated in the past.
Tostrud writes that this was denied because there isn't an immediate risk of being affected by these policies now that agents have largely left Minnesota. U of M political science and law professor Tim Johnson says that's an important step to clear, but adds that Tostrud's language will likely be cited going forward.
Would certainly point to this and say all of these judges in past cases are saying this is happening and it's happening to my client as well.
1 month since the end of the surge, with repercussions still ongoing.
Brave Minnesotans standing up for their rights and for the rights of others makes a difference.
Ian Russell reporting there. 3 years after Minnesota legalized marijuana, shops are slowly starting to pop up across the state. That includes in Forest Lake, where the town's first dispensary is set to open up next month. And the shop's owner is the mayor. Here's Morgan Wolf.
I just love those mums. They're so pretty.
Warm weather has Lakes Floral busy.
It's going to be 32, 34.
The store, mixed with a boutique, has been around for nearly 100 years.
Fresh cut flowers, events, full garden center, seasonal garden center, and gift shop.
Blake Roberts is a part of the third generation to run it.
The challenge is already here with the cost of everything going up, overhead for small businesses. This is going to allow us to diversify a little bit more.
Next month, they're getting a flower that they have never sold here ever before. In addition to this greenhouse, they're opening the Greenhouse Cannabis Company.
Get a green flower over there and come over here and buy a plant. Yeah.
They're not growing the green flowers, but they are partnering with local tribes for product. So Robert says that his experience as a business owner gives him an edge.
We were first approached back in March of last year.
Approval from the city came in July, but as mayor, Robert says that he kept the whole process transparent.
I removed myself from all votes, from council chambers, any discussion, and just wanted to make sure everyone realized it's above board, and we're just happy to be able to bring this new product to Forest Lake.
Growing one career, adding his political ambitions won't be.
Running for higher office.
Yeah. That I'll never do. This is as high as I want to go.
A new type of greenhouse planted firmly in a familiar soil.
You don't stay in business for 96 years because we don't know how to adapt, you know?
Morgan Wolf reporting. Great job. In Forest Lake, the dispensaries need to all follow similar laws like liquor stores in regards to where they're located. Certain distances from schools, daycares, as an example. The mayor there says 3 licenses have been approved in the city, and he hopes with population growth that more licenses can be added. It has been 40 years ago this month that 3 Minnesotans did something that no one else in the world had ever done. Dog sledded all the way to the North Pole with no support. Heidi Wigdahl introduces us to 3 explorers who remember exactly how this mission started.
In Ely, Minnesota, there's a spirit of adventure, a place forever connected to the top of the world.
The pole had never been done unsupported, and everybody said it was impossible. I really realized I could do that.
40 years ago, from his cabin outside of Ely, Will Steger set out to make history.
For myself, it was definitely a real monumental beginning of what I really wanted to do with my life.
Come on, come on.
Paul Shirky came on board
Good dog, Charlie Brown.
to co-lead the expedition.
That's enough. These amazing four-legged friends of ours, these Canadian Inuit dogs that power our business here and powered our expedition to the North Pole.
Ann Bancroft, a Minneapolis elementary school teacher at the time, became one of the final members to join and the third Minnesotan.
At the time, I'm like, oh, they're not going to take me. I'm not qualified enough. And I thought, well, if I don't try, I'll never forgive myself, because this was my childhood dream of going to the top of the world on the back of a dog sled. I thought, 7 guys, not so sure about that one, but hey, I would have been fine if they said no. I would have gone on with my life. But that trip changed everything for me.
It did for others too. Coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, you can see what they went through on that expedition that changed their lives and many other lives. Things like enduring temperatures that reached more than 70 degrees below zero, winning the I Remember When contest during any conversation. And as dramatic as this expedition was, it's not the only legacy that Will Steger hopes to leave behind. He's been building what some may call an architectural gem near Ely, and it's an off-the-grid center that he hopes will attract people from all over the world to discuss and solve some of our biggest problems. You can hear more on this and Will Steger's life in a special KARE 11 documentary. It's streaming tomorrow night at 7:30 and 9:30 right here on KARE 11+. Stick with us. We got more news and weather coming up after the break.